Pro guitar players use the pentatonic scale all the time, but they do something first. We want to play with good feel without thinking about a bunch of scales. There's one thing we need to do to sound more connected, more melodic, and sound more confident. Let me bring you in close and show you what I've been doing wrong for so many years. If we just take a standard 1-4-5 blues, G7, C9, and D9. Our first instinct is to just play the G minor pentatonic scale over this, but a pro guitar player is going to do something first. There are so many YouTube videos on playing over the changes, chord tones, arpeggios, and there's a good reason for that. It's because pro guitar players use these devices to really just create melodic solos, connected sounding solos. So let's look at a G7 arpeggio. Look at this C7 arpeggio. D7 arpeggio. And I showed you them all within this G minor pentatonic position because you still never want to give up that minor pentatonic sound. But you want to stay connected as you're improvising. Let me know if this lesson's helpful. Hit that like button. I really appreciate your support. So this is what I've been missing for so many years. Early on, just taking that minor pentatonic, just playing up and down. I thought if I got faster, I knew it in all different positions, I would really start to connect, but it just didn't happen. This is a great way to start connecting your blues rock guitar solos and do it with confidence. But to make these notes sound more musical, we have to create movement to these target notes. The notes I just showed you in these arpeggios are going to be our target notes. And even though a lot of them are already in the minor pentatonic, we want to not look at the scale because we want to focus and kind of get a good feel and a connection with our solo without focusing on scales. And a great way to practice this concept is hitting the chord, playing through the arpeggio. And back down a little bit of the minor pentatonic. Again. And back down the minor pentatonic to the root note. I talk about the root note all the time because we want to know where home base is. We don't always have to hit it, but know where that root note is for your chords. Don't just focus on scales. You want to know the notes and the chords so you can sound connected. You sound like you know what you're doing. So the C9 chord. Same thing, back down the G minor pentatonic scale, back to that root note. D. I like to use it in that position. So in this one position here, we can really create movement by knowing where those notes are and then using the minor pentatonic just as passing notes to create movement to those target notes. Look at these as target notes, the notes in the arpeggios. We're just using the note, hammering onto the major third on all of these is a great way. Major third is a B note here for the G. And then the C. The major third of the C chord is the E note. C note there in the 5th fret, but you also have an E note here in the 5th fret. You're playing those notes in that arpeggio. Back down the minor pentatonic. But you're targeting these notes. D. You can just hear the chord in that little phrase. The major third is the F sharp, so we're hammering onto the F sharp note. And then landing on that D note. Landing on the C note, which is the minor 7th of that arpeggio. Again, to practice this, you want to be able to get some movement here, but play the chord. Back down the minor pentatonic. C. D. You can create these phrases by really focusing on mostly the major third and that flat 7 of each chord. Just by instinct, I'm playing those chord tones, but I really, after I play a major or a 7th sounding phrase, I'm using that minor pentatonic. Some of you might be saying, well, what about the G major pentatonic? You are actually playing most of the notes in there by using these arpeggios. And we don't need to think about intervals, scales. Focus on the notes and the chords and how they look on the fretboard. You should be able to look down at this fretboard, see that little pattern there. And you can do this all over the fretboard, and then the same with the C. You already know where the minor pentatonic is, but break away from that. Get some good feel and some good sound with the notes you choose. Man, I wish I would have done this early on. I would be such a better player and more connected. I have to really work on this every day myself. This will be a huge step forward for a lot of you. Just take a few minutes, look at the chord, look at either the triad or the arpeggio that the chord is made of. The pros do it this way. They almost instinctively look down at the fretboard and see this stuff. And it just needs to be a mindset for us to do that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully we'll see you soon.